On this week's show, we discuss how to put together your 2019 property business plan.
We're going to discuss Samuel's part 2 of his financial freedom challenge.
And in the news, a lady has been arrested in London for doing rent-to-rent serviced accommodation. Welcome to the Property Investors Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're here every single Friday at 4 p.m. You can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify and YouTube. I hope you enjoyed this week's show. Make sure you subscribe so that you never miss an upload, and don't forget to share with all your friends. I'm Russell Leeds.
I'm Alistair Cunningham.
And thanks for joining us this week. I hope you had a fantastic new year. Did you have a good new year?
I did, man. I did. Happy New Year to everybody. So yeah, it was cool. What about yourself?
I didn't do much actually.
Okay.
I went to a New Year's Eve party, and we took the kids with us, and we sort of thought they'll probably go to sleep. We had like push chairs there and stuff, and we thought that we could, we could just sort of enjoy the. Anyway, it didn't really work out as we planned.
Did you even see in the new year?
I didn't know. I went home with the kids.
Oh, really?
To be honest, I had because Anna was driving, she said, you can drink, and I made the mistake of drinking red wine, and red wine just makes me really, really tired.
Does it?
So I had like 3 glasses of red wine, and I was just like, I didn't feel drunk, I just felt absolutely exhausted, and it got to about 9:30, and I was there on my seat. Sorry, Nick, for moving away from the mic. I was there on my seat, and I was just like, the kids were like tired and cranky, and I said, "Look, just take me and the kids home, and then you come back and enjoy the party."
Yeah.
So I was in bed for 10:30.
Really? Okay,
yeah.
that's cool, man. It's what it is.
That's how I roll.
That's how you roll.
How about you? Where'd you go?
We went to Isabel, my daughter's old childminder. So they invited us round for the evening. We just played board games, played a bit of Monopoly, and we just saw the new year in, watched the fireworks. It was pretty awesome, and then home by 12:30.
So board games and bed.
Yeah.
Party animals here
Party
on the
animals
Property Investors Podcast. Okay, cool. So first thing we're looking at this week is how to put together your 2019 property business plan.
Very relevant.
Obviously beginning of the year.
Yep.
People always at the start of a new year are sort of thinking,
New Year's resolutions, business plans, goals, all sorts. So
it's it's an exciting time. It's a good time to. As long as you can keep it up throughout the year, it's a good time. Samuel has told everyone what his 2019 business plan is. In fact, let's take a little look at that now.
So of the 9 properties, they're going to be split into 3 sections. So I'm going to buy 3, 3 and 3. And the first group of 3 is going to be serviced apartments. Serviced apartments are really great for 2 reasons. And let me explain why. Let me tell you why I'm so excited about buying serviced apartments. Number 1, I live in the Midlands and they've really bottomed out price-wise. I bought some apartments in Walsall. I own them right in the centre on Bridge Street of Walsall. I paid £85,000 for these apartments 10 years ago in Walsall. Currently today, they're worth around about £75,000. So over the last 10 years, they've actually dropped in value. We know that on average, properties double every 10 years. These have actually not just stayed the same, they've dropped in value over the last 10 years. Now, after a recession will always come an expansion, and after an expansion will always come a recession. Walsall as an area has not been in a big recession. In fact, I've got houses in Walsall that have gone up a lot, but apartments seem to be really low at the moment. They seem to be almost out of fashion. I think the series Friends came in and suddenly everyone wanted an apartment because they were watching Friends in apartments, and apartments went really inflated. But I feel like they've really bottomed out right now, and I think that the fact that they've bottomed out, I have a feeling that apartments are going to become back in fashion over time, and I have a feeling that the prices are going to go back up because at the moment they're right at the bottom. Apartments, I think, are really good. Things you need to be careful when you're buying apartments is the ground rent and the service charge. You need to make sure that you calculate that in the return on investment. Serviced apartments, why is serviced accommodation so good? Well, serviced accommodation is when you rent out a property or a room or whatever it might be, and you rent it out. Instead of putting a tenant in there, you have a guest in there. So it's like a hotel without having staff. It's all automated, it's all systemized. Rather than buying an apartment for a good price and then just renting it out for say £500, £600, £700 a month, I'm going to be buying a property, an apartment, and I'm going to be renting it out. My plan A is going to be renting it out as a serviced accommodation. So what's going to happen is I'm going to get guests coming in there, which which literally can double, triple, or even quadruple your return on investment and your monthly cash flow. So on that basis, what are the figures going to look like and where am I planning on buying? Well, serviced apartments work best in big city centres, really buzzing city centres. So I'm going to be buying, my closest big buzzing city centre is Lichfield, but Lichfield's very expensive, and you're talking probably at least £150,000 just for a studio apartment, which is, the returns aren't going to be as good if I went a little bit further afield. Birmingham is the next biggest buzzing city. Birmingham is from about half an hour from where I live. Birmingham, you can buy apartments for as little as £100,000. Yeah, it's a really buzzing, popular city. So I'm going to be buying serviced apartments in Birmingham, and I'm going to buy a minimum of 3 over the next 12 months. My advice to you would be, if you're looking to buy serviced apartments for around about £100,000 to £150,000, I would say find the biggest most buzzing city near where you live and buy there. Now, in other videos, I've said that don't worry about having to buy close to where you live. So why am I suggesting that you buy close to where you live with serviced apartments? Well, a couple of reasons. Firstly is, if you have to travel far, even just for the viewings in the first place and the setting up process, if you're driving 6 hours each way, it's a 12-hour round trip, you've got to put a value on your time. So I would say for buying serviced apartments, if you live in such an expensive area that your returns are going to be so low, then maybe do look further afield. But I think if you can buy close to home, that's not a bad thing. Secondly is, I know Birmingham really well because I live close. If I was to buy in Liverpool, I might be able to buy an apartment a bit cheaper, but I don't know the area. I'm going to have to spend a lot of time investigating the area. I'm also going to have to then drive to view it. So the amount of money I'm going to lose because I'm spending my time is probably not worth it. So serviced apartments in Birmingham, I'm going to buy 3. I'm going to be spending between £100,000 and £150,000 per apartment, and I would like to be making at least a minimum of £500 profit per month off the apartment. But I think that's very conservative. Also, as a plan B, if serviced accommodation becomes very regulated and I'm not able to do that anymore, or it becomes saturated, is even if I rent it out as a single let apartment, the kind of apartments that I'm going to be buying, the return will still be pretty decent. So that's going to be 3 of my houses, serviced apartments, and I'm looking in Birmingham. Next, HMOs. What are HMOs? Well, HMOs, house of multiple occupancy. It's when you buy a house and you split it up and you rent it out on a room by room basis. The reason HMOs are really good is because instead of getting rent from just one person, you're getting rent from multiple people, which means that cash flow's better. Now, HMOs have become pretty regulated over the last few years. Sometimes you need licenses, sometimes you need planning permission, so they're just about as regulated as I think they're ever going to get. Or while that can be a little bit annoying because of the red tape, it's also really good because I understand the HMO industry very well. People are a bit scared off because of the rules and regulations, but I can't imagine them getting any more regulated. So I think HMOs are very safe. I think that you know where you stand. If you buy a HMO and you buy in the right area, again, where am I going to be looking for HMOs? I'm going to be looking in the Midlands, again, because I've got a really good team, a really good network in the Midlands. Prices in the Midlands have not gone up super high like London, but they are going up. So I think the capital appreciation is going to be good. I know the area well, I understand it. HMOs work in many different parts of the country, but I'm personally going to be looking in the Midlands. I'm going to be looking in Birmingham, Warsaw and surrounding areas. Kind of figures I think you'd be talking is, I said in my book, Buy Low Rent Hard, that you were talking £25,000 per lettable room. That was a couple of years ago. Prices have now gone up, but also rents have gone up. So now I'm looking to spend a maximum of £35,000 per lettable room, which means if it's a 4-bed HMO, I'll buy it for £140,000 max, and then I should be able to rent it out for a minimum of £400 per room. So a 4-bed HMO, you buy it for £140 and you're going to rent it out for £1,600 a month. Of course, you're going to have costs involved, but again, your cash flow each month should be very high, giving me a return on investment of at least 20%. So I'm gonna buy 3 HMOs in the Midlands, 3 serviced apartments in Birmingham. So far, that will take me up to 6 properties. So what are the next 3 properties that I'm gonna buy? Again, by the way, don't forget, if you're enjoying this video, please do smash that like and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done that. Thank you so much. The last 3 properties as part of the 9 houses over the year are gonna be straightforward, below market value, buy-to-let properties. When I say single-let, buy-to-let, it just means a house that you rent out to a family. Nothing complicated, you're not splitting it up, you're not doing anything clever, you're not doing it as a guest house, just a straightforward buy-to-let. Why am I going to be doing that? Well, because I think that when I first started in property, buy-to-let, that was the actual bread and butter. And looking at my portfolio now, if I look across the board, a lot of my buy-to-let properties have actually made me a lot of money in capital appreciation. They've gone up in value. I've had the same tenants in there for 5, 6, 7 years. Very, very little work. My thinking is, while people are scared, that's when you should be greedy, as Warren Buffett says. At the moment, with the tax changes and with all the things that are going on in the country, with the uncertainty and Brexit, there's a lot of people that are quite fearful. There's a lot of people that are quite scared at the moment. So it's a really good opportunity to buy properties below market value, because people are thinking, oh, I just want to get rid of my property, or oh, what's going to happen? And then they're wanting to sell. So I think right now is a really good opportunity to buy properties, find motivated sellers, negotiate a good below market value. And if you think about it, if you find a house that's valued at £100,000 and you buy it for £85,000, that negotiation might have only taken you a couple of hours, but you've made effectively £15,000 in a couple of hours from finding it and negotiating in a couple of hours. I don't know about you, but £15,000 for a couple of hours work is not bad. So below market value, and then just sit on it, hold it, rent it out for maybe £500, £600, £700 a month. Safe, easy, gonna go up over time. I'm gonna be buying 3 single let, buy-to-let properties. That's my total 9.
Alright, so interesting. So he's not being like majorly ambitious.
No.
So
No, considering this year, considering 2019 and his 2018 year, obviously 2018 he bought what, 27 properties?
So I can't remember exactly, but something like
that. Around that, and
yeah.
now he's only saying he's going to buy 9.
Yeah.
I'm sure that'll be more. I'm sure he'll just find some irresistible deals that he can't turn down.
Yeah. Well, I think that's part of it, isn't it? You're always on the lookout for other stuff, and if something comes along, an opportunity comes along, you're not going to turn it down. But yeah, it's pretty easy, pretty simple. 3 serviced accommodations.
Yeah, 3 HMOs.
3 HMOs. 3
single
buy-to-lets.
like buy-to-lets. Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
So, how would you recommend someone putting together their plan? If there are people watching this that think, okay, how can I put together my business plan for 2019?
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Can I tell you how I done it last year? Because obviously last year is the year that sort of 2018 was like the year of my life, really. So I can't complain. But 2017, I said 2018 was going to be the year was going to be it, and I said, no matter what happens, I'm going to just do it.
Okay.
And I'm going to implement. So I just set out some very realistic goals, and I made sure I stuck to them. So my whole goal was to learn as much as possible about property, which I've sought out to do. I've attended probably a training course at least one a month, on learning various different strategies, different methods, things like that. And so my goals last year were to completely immerse myself in property. And hence now I'm sat here with yourself and we're filming a podcast. I'm completely now immersed in property. The key to it, though, is to stick to it. Is to, if you're going to set goals, is to just do the goals and stick to them. Don't just get to your first hurdle and then just say, do you know what, it's too hard.
Which I suppose is where a lot of people will be. I mean, you see on Facebook, don't you, all people going, oh, in 2019, I'm going to do this, and this. But they say that every year.
Yeah.
And it's like, well,
I think it's good to write them down.
I agree.
Because if you write them down, they become sort of more. Like, you're more accountable, aren't you? If you just sit in your head, it's very easy to forget them. But if you write them down and look at them,
I'm in no way poo-pooing writing down goals.
Yeah.
I am a big believer in that. What I'm poo-pooing is writing them down at the start of a year, never looking at them again.
Yeah.
Never, and then maybe by middle of Jan, you've already given up.
Yeah. It's like just you see it a lot, don't you, on like social media, like people just doing the whole positivity post, don't you? Like,
mate, I love the positivity posts, so I don't want to put a negative on it because so I love that, and I think that people do it. It is great. Yeah. It is great. Well done them. They just need to do it more.
Yeah.
So don't
but
just
implement
do it.
Not just
do it every month, and rather than just vaguely coming up with stuff. I'd like to learn a new language. Would you really like to learn? See, I'd like to learn a new language.
Yeah.
I'd love to, but I know in reality that it's just not top of my priority, so I'm not going to put it down, because if you end up putting stuff that isn't a priority for you, you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
It's got to be something that you really, really want.
So what are your goals for 2019? If you don't mind sharing some of them, not all of them, just some.
My goals for 2019, in what sense?
Yeah, you tell me anything. So you must have. So okay, what about some personal goals for 2019.
Wow, you really are putting me on the spot now, aren't you?
Sorry, man.
That's all right. Let me. Have you got some?
I've got some.
Well, I think about which
so
ones I want to share.
while he tries to make some up, I'm just kidding. Well, Russell's thinking. I've got several 2019 goals. Personally wise, I want to start taking a bit more care of my health. I've got a bit more time to take care of my health now. And
this sounds a bit like a poo-poo one.
And no,
He's been saying that forever.
We're going to do it. Don't
Look
worry.
at him.
And my business goals. I've acquired 4 properties this year. I want to acquire another 4 properties next year. This year, 2019. And I want to continue learning, continue developing, and helping other people as well. I actually really genuinely want to help other people. Cool.
Nice. All right. So I'll tell you. I'll share with you some of mine then. So one is I'm going to publish a book.
Yeah.
Which obviously you know about.
I do know about
because you've been reading some of it.
I've been checking it out from, which is it's awesome.
Oh, thank you. 2 is I want to double the size of our training company.
Wow, it's a big goal.
Yeah. I'm not. That's why I was going to go to the figures and everything. But,
no.
Thirdly, I want to really take the charity work that we do to another level. So I'm in discussions with a few different charities about how we can team up with them and do that. So I've got to speak to one in the new year. So I've got some big plans for that. I don't want. I weirdly, I'm being a little bit hypocritical here because I don't like sharing too much.
Okay,
but even though I'm saying that you should, so maybe I should. But yeah, they're kind of the things that I'm working towards.
It's going to be a good year.
It is. It's going to be a good year.
This year's going to be an awesome year. I can just feel it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I've got a load of obviously property stuff lined up and stuff that we're doing as well. I think Samuel mentioned it a bit in the video about some of the stuff we're doing together as a business. But I suppose this is about you. But you didn't really share how you put together your 2019 plan. You just sort of said about how awesome you were.
I didn't say how awesome I was. No, it's just how I put it together. I just looked at what I'd done last year. I want to try and grow every year. I really want to. I get so many people asking me.
But okay, so what are the steps then? So you talked about how you put together your 2018 business plan.
Yeah.
So I suppose it's very much dependent on things such as how much money you have, how much time you have. Mm-hmm. So what do you look at when you go, okay, that's what I want to do? Do you look at the see what I do is I look at I'll kind of work backwards. So I look at the end result first, what I want the end result to be, and then I go, okay, so what can I do
to achieve that?
To achieve the end result? Because otherwise you're just doing it for, like, I want to buy a house. Okay, what? Why?
Yeah.
And you got to keep asking yourself the questions why, and then you can work out, make sure that the actual reason you want to achieve it, you know, once you get in your head what that is, then you can put the plan in place to get there. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. Sounds very much like MTS.
MTS? No, nothing to do with goal setting at MTS.
No, okay, that's cool.
You haven't got to the goal setting bit in my book, have you?
Not yet, no, okay. Not yet.
Okay.
The way I've done it is I've looked at what I've done in 2018. I've looked at where we're at financially, where the business is at financially, and I want to grow that, and I want to grow my personal side of things. I can't say I've got a specific algorithm for working all
Not
out.
Not an algorithm, but right. So let's say this.
Process, but
do you mind do you want to go deep here or not?
Not particularly,
not
but
particularly.
Go on.
Okay, so
Can if you want.
Okay, you don't have to answer the questions. Okay, because I know I shirked it when you asked
me.
No,
I don't mind. Right. I'll do what I can.
All right. Okay. So you start off and you think, okay, so what do you want?
Personal or business?
Personally. You always start personal, and then your business facilitates your personal. So start personal. What do you want personally?
Okay. So I want to be able to spend a bit more time with my family.
How much? What's a bit more? That's vague.
It's not vague, is it?
Very vague.
Okay, it's fine. So if I said I wanted to be able to spend, so at the minute, with the way my business is, I spend 3 or 4 days away from home a week.
Yeah.
I want to try and reduce that
down.
To
what?
Maybe just one day. Maybe just 1 or 2 days a week.
I don't want to hear what you don't want to do. What do you want? So what? How much time? Why do you want to spend time with your family?
Oh, this is going to get deep.
So you got to do this for yourself, though, guys.
Because they're my family and I love them.
Okay.
I'm not
going to press you too much on that because I know it's personal. But so how much time do you want to spend? Because you wouldn't want to spend 7 days a week with them, would you?
Oh no. Kids would drive me nuts.
It's alright, Lisa. He's like, oh, no.
No. I don't want to be away from home more than maybe 2 nights a week.
Okay, so you want evenings?
Evenings and...
How many evenings?
Weekends. I want to, 3 or 4 nights a week.
Okay, cool. So you want 3 or 4 nights a week?
Ideally, I want 7 nights a week, but my business...
That's your goal then?
Yeah, no, because I have a business to run, so I have to...
No.
Oh, okay, so, alright, fine. You see, this is where you're going to go into the whole systemization thing and getting people to do it for me. Of
course.
Yeah, no. Okay, so ideally, I want to be at home 7 nights a week.
7 nights a week, and weekends?
And weekends.
Okay, cool. So you can still work like 40 hours a week.
Did you get that? 7 nights a week, but does that include weekends? It's only 7 days in the week.
I meant in the days.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay.
So in the days and then all the evenings.
Yeah. Well, obviously I've got to work. That's the thing. So ideally I want to be at home as much as possible.
But this is the thing. You don't even sound like you know what you want. Because you're saying I want to work.
It sounds like a therapy session.
It is a little bit of a therapy. It is a bit of a therapy session. But you need to know. So what you need to do is you need to think about how much you want to be around, how much you want to be at work. So the thing is that you might think to yourself in your head, I want to be 7 days a week. But then you might also think, but I want to go to every crash course.
Well, I do. That's the thing. I want to go see. I want a bit of everything. That's the thing. I want to go to as many events as possible. I want to learn as much as possible, and I want to train as much as possible.
Yeah.
So that has to work around my family. My family have to work around that. But it's all for the bigger picture. So the more I learn, the more I'll earn, and the more I earn, the more I can facilitate being at home.
What's the point in earn? Just read the chapter on the goal setting in the book. But what's the point in earning it if you don't know why you want to earn it?
Yeah, I'm with you completely. I'm completely with you. You could have pre-warned me we'd have a therapy session today, but
well, you put me on the spot as well.
I need a bigger. I'm still struggling with my purpose on everything because my initial purpose was to make my family secure financially. Yeah. We've achieved that. We're not struggling financially. Now I'm working on my next goals, my bigger goals, where I want to be in a couple of years. 5 years, 10 years, etc. Mm-hmm. And it's not as easy as everyone thinks. It really isn't because it's like when I went to Africa was brilliant. So when you mentioned the charity earlier, I'm completely with you on that. Mm-hmm. I loved Africa. I loved going to Uganda. It completely changed my mindset on everything, and it made me realise that in this country we have everything. We have so much, and we need to facilitate that and make the most of it, as opposed to instead of sort of moaning about it. We've got such a great opportunity in this country, so we could, like, my goals are very achievable.
But your goals could be related to, so you can have your personal goals. It might, like for me, I remember having a conversation with Anna when we started becoming pretty successful, and she said, when are you going to stop working so much and spend? And I was like, I'm not.
The thing is, like, you say about why did you say you're not? I know what you're going to say.
Because I really enjoy.
I love working. I love business.
For me, it's like a hobby at the same time.
Exactly.
So she was like, "Well, when's enough going to be enough?" And I was like, "It isn't."
Because the money sort of becomes secondary, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think it does because I love working.
Depending on your position, you have different goals. Yeah. So initially, your goals were, "I want to be financially secure," and once you've done that, then your goals will change. But what you need to do, and this will go to anyone, is you need to think about what your ideal lifestyle would be. Yeah. Now that probably won't be lying on a beach. I wouldn't want to do that. It would be bored as anything. You're going to enjoy work as long as you're doing something you enjoy. Property is a brilliant business. Property is a very enjoyable business. You're going to enjoy doing that. So you need to look at what do I ideally want my lifestyle to be like. Yeah. For me, I'm very happy working 5 days a week. Yeah. I like having weekends off. Yeah. So or 2 days off a week. Mm-hmm. Spend time with the family. But I'm very happy working 5 days a week. I enjoy doing that. Yeah. There's certain stuff I'd like to do a bit more, like but and then you can work backwards from there and say, okay, so in order to get the lifestyle I want, the house I want, the car I want, the life I want, how much work I want to do, what do I need to put in place to get that? So you want to work backwards, but. We've talked quite a lot now.
Once I've read your book,
read it.
I'm mostly through. I'll sit down and do it properly.
All right.
Thanks, man.
No problem.
So we have a free gift for all you guys listening to the podcast. We are running an event called 1000 Kings. And the free gift is we've got free tickets for you to come along to that event. It's coming up very, very soon on the 11th and 12th of January. And it's an event to learn all about business. You're going to learn how to explode your business, become a best-selling author, earn 6 figures as a speaker, become financially free in 12 months or less, get more customers, learn how to sell, influence thousands as a leader, and make the world a better place. It really is a fantastic conference with loads and loads of good speakers. I'm actually one of the speakers at the event, as well as Samuel, so please do book along. Go to www.1000kings, that is 1000kings.co.uk, and get yourself booked on with your free tickets. I hope to see you there. So, back to the show. Next, we're going to be talking about Samuel's Financial Freedom Challenge. Now, I'm going to let you take the lead on this because, number one, Nick, could you get me a glass of water? My throat is so dry.
Same as, please, if you don't mind me as well.
And number two,
Just drank a load of cold tea.
number two, you actually went with him and
Yes,
actually
man,
featured.
yeah.
In fact, should we watch? While
watch
we
it.
get a glass of water, let's watch a clip of this video, and then we'll talk about it.
Hey, I am in Sheffield as Samuel Leeds, and I'm just going to go around the apartments that I secured, and I'm going to show you around and give you some details of the figures and things like that. So I'm actually just here. I'm at the penthouse, looking around it, and you know what? It's fabulous. We've got bookings coming in like crazy, and I thought I'd answer some questions that people asked on the group around the figures and about some of the detail of what happened. So, really, something interesting happened. A lot of people were saying that it was unfair because the challenge was unfair because I had the knowledge.
Well, that wasn't that the whole point?
I think, yeah, it kind of was, wasn't it?
I'm sure that was the whole point of the challenge, was to prove that if you've got the correct knowledge,
Exactly.
without the money, you can still
Yeah, if you haven't got the knowledge, or the money, or the inclination, all the time, then yeah, you'll fail.
Yeah.
You can do it without the money, but you need to have other stuff kind of going for you, in which my case it was the knowledge, so
Yeah, 100%.
those questions I don't quite understand. Were you most nervous on day 1 or day 6? Ooh, good question. Believe it or not, I was most nervous on day -1. The day before, I was like, oh my goodness, I was shaking. But actually going out and...
I actually remember speaking to you at the DFE because we were at the 3-day training course at the DFE, and that's when you pulled the name out of the hat.
Yeah.
And you were literally leaving the DFE that night to go.
Yep.
And I know then you were a bit nervous.
So I pulled the place out of the hat, and by the way, this was a random city, like to the point we had a Facebook Live. The guys did it, not my staff. They put the different things in a hat. They were trying to stitch me up because Trevor were at Scotland 4 times and was putting it in there, hoping I'd go to Scotland.
Oh, wow.
And then they mixed it up. I took one out, and the others were then looked at, and it was on a Facebook Live. And I got Sheffield, and that same frigging evening, I then drove to Sheffield in my little yellow banger. People have been asking me about like what deals I sold and stuff, and how that £8,000. I don't think in the documentary it was super clear.
Okay.
So I sold 3 deals. Day 1, I just found loads of leads. Day 2, I went and viewed loads of properties. We couldn't follow each story of each property, which was disappointing. I might write a book or something on exactly what happened so you can get the full story. But I sold 3 properties, a HMO, a development opportunity, and a rent to SA. And then with that money, I had enough to get these 2 properties.
Okay.
Which was 4,800, and the breakdown of that was just deposit, upfront rent,
Yeah.
a little small application fee, a little bit of money left over, and I just thought, as I've done it anyway, that's why I gave the money to a homeless charity. And also I bought a phone. The mechanic who saved me, my car broke down, he came, he fixed the car. I said, how much do I owe you? And I was thinking, I ain't got any money to pay you. And I said, how much do I owe you? And he looked at me, and he looked at the car,
I felt sorry for you.
and he went, forget it, mate. I was like, thank you so much. I said, I appreciate that. So at the end of the week, I called his boss.
Yeah. I
called the office and I asked to speak to the boss. And I said to him, you know, the guy that fixed my car, Tony, I want to leave a good review on your site. I'm really happy. I said, can I get Tony a gift? And he was like, yeah, you can bring him in a bottle of beer or something. I said, no. I said, I want him something really special. And he said, well, I said, his phone's just broken. and I said, what phone was it? He told me it's a Samsung. And the amount of money that it would cost to get me a new phone, I just had left over. So I thought, sorry, it was really sweet.
Okay, so we've seen Samuel's part 2 of his financial freedom challenge. What did you think?
I actually really enjoyed the video. I'd recommend. I mean, it's a 33-minute video.
Yeah.
But I'd recommend, 34 or something. But I'd recommend checking it out. I watched it and I was like smiling all the way through. It made me laugh a few times. My favourite bit, was when he called you the cleaner. But you know.
So basically, me and Simon went up. We were out for the day, and we dropped in at the apartments. He wanted to show me around them, so we had a look. We got the key safes on the wall.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that the drilling bit was just, and then you took over once the camera got turned off.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Simon didn't really know what he was doing.
Nah.
He's like, "What is this?" But yeah, no, it was cool. So yeah,
I'm terrible at DIY.
Yeah.
But he's worse than me. So when I saw him with the drill, I was thinking I wouldn't be able to put a key safe up, and there's no way he'd be able to put a key safe up. And Alistair, apparently, he's a very bad tiler, but pretty handy.
Yeah, well, I sorted them out, so I put it all up, so it's cool. But yeah, no, the apartment's all furnished already now. They've been having guests. There's been people staying. So we just went to have a little look round, just to make sure everything's all right. Just make sure all the heating and that was on for the guests that were showing up. And also we had there was 6 guests booked in that day. So
I saw in the video. I saw. Made me laugh because I always say, "Don't you hate all the training I do? Don't you hate it when the idiot owner comes to let you in?" And then you guys are there like, "Hey!"
Yeah. Well, it wasn't. I think one of them he'd arranged to meet them because he wanted to show them around because that was for the penthouse. Because we were going to be in the area, so we gave them a call and they said they were going to be there at 2:30. So we decided to hang off and just say hi, make sure if they were settled in the apartments and things like that. But no, it was really good. But he done a lot of question and answers. So you get lots of questions on his Facebook page about how he done this, how he done that, and he went through and answered a lot of them questions.
The question that seems to come up the most, and it's kind of just like
hard work, isn't it?
Was. I think it would be better if someone didn't have the knowledge. Do you really? Because then, just nothing would happen. It would just be a video of someone just ringing estate agents, and that's it,
and not doing it,
and not doing anything.
The whole idea of his financial freedom challenge was for somebody with the knowledge, but doesn't have the money, doesn't have the assets, doesn't have the brand, the name, doesn't have the business, or
all they've
got
is
heritage.
Knowledge. Can they do it?
Knowledge, simple. Can they do it?
Yeah.
And the answer to that is yes. If you've got the knowledge, you can do it. Samuel proved that. So the amount of people asking them questions, yeah, I think.
But I mean, overall, it was, very positively received. It was a really interesting challenge.
The apartments are really nice. Have you seen them?
Not in real life.
Only in the video.
Only
they're actually really nice. They're just outside Sheffield City Centre, so they're nice.
I've seen them. They're renting out like crazy.
Yeah.
I've seen all the
lots of booking.coms. Coming in and things.
Yeah, which is great. No, it's really good. It's really really good, and I think it was a really good follow up. I think they're still. I think it's still got people that are still interested in breakdown exactly how it happened. So
well, he did. There was somebody on the comments done a breakdown for him.
I saw.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
The Excel spreadsheet and her figures were very close to Samuel's.
Yeah.
And she's obviously got experience in it. Otherwise, she wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
And her figures were not quite identical, but very very close to Samuel's figures.
Yeah.
So it just shows that they weren't just plucked out of thin air.
Yeah.
They were calculated properly. So. Yes, it's pretty awesome. But I think they're going to do well. I think the apartments, and he's giving all the money, all the profits to charity.
Yeah,
it's lovely, man. It's really good.
Yeah. But definitely, if you haven't seen it, if you haven't seen the Financial Freedom Challenge or part 2, I think I even enjoyed this follow up, maybe even more than the actual documentary.
Yeah, I think the documentary was 40 minutes, something like that. It's was it? It's a lot of information to take in a 40-minute period.
It was great.
It was awesome. It was great. I think a lot of people had questions, obviously, and the follow-up video was good because it answered some of these questions in depth. And I think he answered about 10-15 questions.
Yeah.
So
it's really good.
Pretty cool.
Cracking stuff.
So yeah, it's good.
Cracking stuff. Right, it's now time for this.
It's property investing news time.
Okay, so in the news this week, very very interesting article, especially as we've talked a fair bit on not on this episode, but about service accommodation, rent-to-rent service accommodation. So, lady, this is her.
Yeah.
You can. That's what he's saying. Yeah, right. By the way, has been arrested for doing rent to service accommodation.
Okay.
Actually arrested by the police.
Arrested,
cautioned
taken away in
for
handcuffs.
fraud.
Fraud. Wow.
Yeah.
Why?
Because it is illegal to sublet, and she's been subletting.
So this comes back to not doing it correctly. We've talked about this a lot in the last sort of episodes.
So basically,
about setting up correctly.
a tenant reportedly exploiting the website Airbnb is a London-based Italian woman named Natalia.
Mm-hmm.
Natalie? I'm going to go Natalia, it sounds more Italian.
Natalia sounds Italian.
Natalia Rossi, who rents out 12 properties, none of which she appears to own. Now that's fine.
That's fine.
That's fine. Up and down the country, neighbours spoke about antisocial behaviour, blah, blah, blah. Now that's, I mean, they're looking at it from a point of view, basically the news article is about how people are renting Airbnbs, prostitutes are using Airbnbs rather than hotels because it's more convenient, more private, etc.
Okay.
etc. Now, maybe they are. There's not a lot you can do about that, I suppose. However, that's not why she's in trouble. The reason she's got in trouble is because she is just renting the property off the landlord as though like a normal tenant.
Yeah. So
And then subletting
like
it.
an AST contract, for instance.
Yeah. She's just going to a like a normal letting agent, going, yeah, I'll take it, I'll live in it,
Yeah.
and then renting it out illegally. And I think she even got fraudulent references and stuff like that.
Wow.
Now, the reason that I thought this was quite important is because there'll be a lot of people that might do that and just think, oh, it's no big deal. She's been named and shamed in the Sun and the Daily Mail.
It must be true if it's in the Sun. So.
Well, yeah, of course. And no, she's been named and shamed in the Sun. She's been arrested. She's been cautioned for fraud. She's got and it's just like a bit of a, we are.
I wonder if she's going to get fined, because obviously that is fair. I mean, fraud is not it's not something to be laughed at. She's defrauding somebody, so I wonder if she's going to get like a massive fine, because she's obviously making a lot of money. Because like if you look at the article, it shows her living a very lavish lifestyle, which is not going to be a cheap lifestyle. So she's obviously making good money.
Well, can we stick the news article in the bit below, Nick? Yeah, cool. So you can check out the article below if you want to look at pictures of her and read the article as well.
Yeah, you can check out pictures of her. Yeah. So anyway, she's obviously defrauding somebody. So I wonder what's going to happen if she's going to get a massive fine. If she'll have to go to court, obviously. So there must be some sort of consequence for it.
Yeah.
And it should be a warning to everybody. If you're going to do anything, you've got to do it correctly and legal.
I think so.
I think again, this comes back down to
and a lot of people, I think, take the attitude of, oh well, it's not that big a deal, or I hear so many people, especially in London, that do it illegally, and there I think do you know the 20-day rule, or not 20 days,
30 day.
30 day.
30 days. It's 30 days in some places. 90 days in London.
90-day rule.
It is 30 days some parts of Europe.
I'm just making it much worse. 20-day rule. The 2-day rule in London. Yeah, the 90-day rule in London. People that break that by renting it out taking like different pictures and putting it out 4 different times.
Yeah.
You can get charged. I think it's a £20,000 fine for doing that. So
I do think this whole we've talked about this many times, but the 90-day rule, I think that's going to start coming in all over. I really do. And clearly the authorities are on it. If she's they're now starting to catch people, and they're now in the mainstream media.
Yeah.
They're going to get caught. So let it be a warning to you that you've got to do these things correctly.
You don't want to mess around because
it's serious. It's serious.
I would not want to see a picture of you dressed like that on in the newspapers. I would not want to see it.
No, it could be interesting, but no.
For several
certainly
reasons.
wouldn't be as good as that pictures.
No.
Them pictures. So yeah, it's cool. But
right, so now moving on to a new feature of the show, which is our Q&A section, where basically you guys send us in questions and we will do our best to answer them for you. So let's start things off with. Let me find a good question. Okay, this is a question by Steve. And he posted on the YouTube. This is from YouTube. Posted on one of the podcasts and said this: on the next podcast, could you have a chat about negativity? I'm just starting out in property, and the people closest to me, because they don't understand it, just want to drag me down.
Yeah.
Do you think I should disconnect myself from these people?
Can I answer this? the reason I want to answer this is because when I got involved in my property journey, I was a negative person, but I also have a lot of negativity, not from my close family, but friends and other people that knew me. I'm not going to swear. It begins with F and it ends with them. Just, do you know what I mean? I'm not going to swear, but basically F them. Flame them. Screw them, mate. Honestly, seriously. If they're going to bring you down, you do not need them in your life. Now, if they're close family, I'm not saying cut them off and disconnect them. Just limit your time you spend with them, or perhaps limit what information you tell them what you're up to. You do not need negativity in your life, and you do not need negativity in your business life, because if you're already doubting yourself, because ultimately property is a business and you will go through a lot of self-doubt. If you're going through that, and then you've also got, so you've got your self-doubt from you, and then you've got negativity from a third party, it ultimately is going to end up with you pulling yourself down. So you need to get rid of one of them. So I would get rid of the negativity, because you're always going to have self-doubt. Start believing in yourself. Stop being so negative. I am a case in point of somebody that when you start believing more positively, good things come. So I would just...
This is what I would say. I'm not quite as harsh as Alistair, although I do agree with the sentiment of it. When you've got you here as a person. In fact, can you pass me that pen? Also, I'm going to draw this here. So you've got you here. I'm not a very good drawer, but hopefully you'll get the point. Can you see that, Nick?
Barely.
Little stick man. No?
Not really.
No, okay. I'll just describe it. So, you've got you, and you've got you with all your friends, and you're all a similar size. Now, what happens is when you start to educate yourself, and when you start to invest in yourself and start learning new things, you begin to grow as a person. Now, your friends and your family, they're not growing like you. You've got to bear in mind that they are the same as they were before. So you're now up here, big, and they're small where they were before. And the thing is that when they can't relate to you as well. So it's not that they're being mean to you. It's not that they want what's bad for you, but they just can't relate to you. And when you're like saying things about investing and about the courses that you're going on, they just don't understand it, and they can't really relate to it, and as a result they try and drag you back down to their level. It'd be the same as like if I like talking about something like football and you want to talk about business, but I don't like business, I don't like investing, I'll be like, oh no man, don't be stupid, because I want you to be more like me. And people tend to want people to be like them, and they tend to like people that are like them. So don't take it personally, and don't think that they're being horrible to you because they don't want what's best for you. It's not their fault. They just don't understand, and they just want you to be like them. So what I agree with what you said is find more people, come to the events, make new friends, find people that are more like what you want to be like, so they can drag you up, hopefully, or are at a similar level to you, so you can be like them, and then you can encourage each other and be like them. You don't necessarily have to cut them out of your life. But limit the time you spend with them. If they're negative people, limit it. So, I mean, you might make the decision to cut them out of your life, and I wouldn't. It depends on the person, how much of a grip they've got on you or whatever. You might make.
All I will say though is it's rare to get negativity from somebody that's doing better than you. It's generally always from people that are stuck in their ways and they don't like seeing people progress. So yeah, hope that covers that.
I hope that answers your question.
I've got a question here.
Go on, hit me
if
up.
we can do this. It's from Lisa Jane Boyle, and it says, Alistair, how did you get started in deal sourcing? Did you have a property background, and did you have a mentor to help shape the beginning of your journey, or did you invest in education purely? Great question. So yes, I have a mentor. His name's Samuel Leeds, Russell's brother, and Russell's my mentor as well. And they've really helped me. I've done a lot of training on deal sourcing and deal packaging. I am going to be speaking about it at Property Investors Circle meeting in a couple of weeks. So I'm sure Nick will stick a link on the video if you want to get booked on that. It's just like 20 quid.
20 quid.
It's only 20 quid. Come along. I'll be speaking about it, and I'll be telling everyone my journey and how I got involved in deal packaging and deal sourcing. It's on January the 7th, and it's going to be in Kettering in Northamptonshire.
So that is coming up like
so it's like
really soon.
It's like a week Monday. Less than 2 weeks. So yeah, get booked on.
January the 7th.
Yeah.
That's not a week Monday, that is Monday.
Oh, okay, Monday. Sorry, guys, Monday. I'm sort of lost time. So it's going to be January 7th on Monday. And I'll be talking about deal sourcing and deal packaging. But yes, to answer your question, I did do a lot of training. I do have a mentor, which you've got to have, I believe, if you really want to excel and succeed. And property background, I didn't have extensive property background. I've been interested in property since I remember, from sort of 16, 17 years old. We've not sort of been property investing before I sort of got involved recently in property. But yeah, I'm very handy around the house, sort of, so I know what I'm looking at, and all my family are involved in construction and building trade. My father's built hundreds and hundreds of homes, so yeah, that's my sort of property background. But as a personal investor, no, not until 2017. So yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so next question. This came to me via Instagram from I think Jay Murphy. He said, having viewed something in the Jewellery Quarter in Birmingham, I think would be perfect. The rent is £850 a month. Could you give me an idea of running costs for a serviced accommodation?
It won't work. Just give me a call. I'll take it. I'll take it off your hands. Definitely will not work. Nah, I'm only joking. It'll be good. Jewellery Quarter is quite a hot area, isn't it?
Yeah.
So running costs, I can tell you what my running costs are for my property in Oxford. Approximately 35 to 40% of the income covered the running costs.
Okay. So do you want to do a quick breakdown on what the costs are?
So the costs I incur.
The costs that they might have. So you got your cleaning.
Cleaning, I pay in Oxford. I pay £50 a visit, and that includes all of the laundry and like all the cleaning.
Yeah. So obviously it's going to depend a little bit on how many visits that you have.
Yep.
And you can choose. So some people might say that they do like a 2-night minimum stay.
Yeah.
Or charge more
recently. Yeah.
Charge more for a 1 night maybe.
Yeah.
So like 1 night is 100, 2 nights is 150, for example,
Yeah.
or 150, 200 or whatever. So you might have maybe 2 or 3 cleans a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're looking at.
Well, my cleaning bills for the whole of December have just come in. It was like it was £555 plus.
That's 11.
So there was 11 cleans plus there was incidentals on there. So he like tops up soaps, he tops up like teas and coffees and biscuits and things like that. So it was about 620 quid or whatever my cleaning charge for November.
So I suppose the cleaning kind of is very dependent on how many bookings you have.
Yes.
So it's hard to give you an exact figure.
Utilities,
just normal
£200-300 a month for all utilities. If you depends what platform you use, so they have obviously their commissions. I think typically
you got your booking.com and that take 15%.
I think it's between 12 and 18% across the all the popular ones.
Airbnb is quite cheap, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's the lowest.
Yeah.
And then if you use a management company,
you'll have to give a percentage to them.
You'll have to give a percentage to them. So,
but basically, as long as you get your book, there's so much profit in it. I mean, I hope they get this. There's not massive expenses, but I hope that gives you a rough idea.
Oh, obviously, and your rent. You've got to pay your rent as well.
Well, he knows that one,
yeah,
850 that one. But yeah, so there's not massive expenses. So as long as you're getting plenty of bookings coming in, you should be fine. But hopefully that kind of clears that up. Okay, I had another one on Instagram. This was by an R.L. Lewis. Robert, he says at the bottom. So this is the question. Hi Russell, hope you're having a top Christmas. Thank you, I did. Love your inspiring videos you've created. This isn't part of the question, but thank you. I was wondering if I could possibly pick your brains regarding lease option agreements. I'm very keen to learn more about it when possible. I'm going to the crash course in February. I'm hoping to learn more about lease options before then. Many thanks. Okay, it's quite a vague question.
Who wants to talk about lease options?
Sorry?
So you've done many lease options. I've done several lease options. In a nutshell, should we just sum it up?
Yep, sure. So in a nutshell, you find a property that you want to buy, where the seller is keen to sell, but normally because they don't want the hassle of having the property. So they want to sell the property because they don't like having it. They're not selling it because they need the cash right now. So what you can offer them in that situation is that you take over the property, basically like a rent-to-rent kind of, but with an agreement that in 4 years, 5 years, 6 years time, you can buy the property for X, whatever figure it is that you decide. So let's say, for example, the property is worth 100 now. You might say to them, well, look, it's worth 100, but you're not able to sell it. I can give you 100, or I can even give you 105, but I can give it you in 5 years' time. Let the market recover. Yeah. In the meantime, though, I'll take over the property. I'll pay your mortgage. I'll cover all the bills. You don't have to worry about a thing. and then I'll buy it off you in 5 years' time.
It's a fairly straightforward process. Couple of caveats we need to say here. You must get the contracts drawn up legally. You must be legally represented. Do not try and do it from a document on your computer from
the problem is,
an online template.
The problem is what might happen is in 5 years' time the property might be worth 150, and then you go, right, I'm going to buy it for 105, and they go, no.
Yeah.
And if you've not got a proper contract drawn up, you might lose it. Which would be a real,
so you need to
pain.
make sure that you're properly legally represented. And the other thing is you've got to be fair to both parties.
Yeah,
it's got to be.
But to be honest, if you're coming on the crash course in February, it's only next month.
Yeah,
it's really covered well.
Yeah,
really covered well, the crash course. So
I've got a quick question here. It's just come through.
Go on.
On Facebook. It's from Josh Lecker. It's not really a question. Hi Russell. This isn't a question. I'm just looking forward to seeing you at the crash course. So I've actually been speaking to Josh on Messenger as well. So
thank you. But have you noticed you've been speaking to him, but he's looking forward to seeing me?
Yeah, but he said that to me in Messenger yesterday.
Sure, he did.
I'll put it up if you want. No,
yeah.
He did actually. But yeah, no, it'd be cool to see you at the crash course, Josh,
Thank
and
you,
your mum and
Josh.
dad. Because we become with your parents.
Awesome. So I hope that answered the questions.
Yeah.
Well enough. I hope you guys got something out of that. If you do have any other questions, you can hit me on Instagram or Facebook, YouTube. In fact, probably don't message me on Facebook because I just never read my Facebook messages. But
yeah, the best place for me is Facebook. I'm the same. I'm opposite. Like Instagram, I'm not massively on.
But probably the best place, if you're on YouTube, is post them on the YouTube channel. Then we'll see them there. Or email podcast@samuelleeds.com.
Yeah.
And we'll try and get through as many questions as we can every week. Thanks ever so much for watching this week's show. Don't forget to subscribe. If you enjoyed the episode, please hit the like button as well below. If you're watching this on YouTube. And share with all your friends and family. We really do appreciate it. Thanks for checking in. I'm Russell Leeds.
I'm Alistair Cunningham. Thanks very much.
We'll see you next week.